Growing up in the 90s, I remember watching the Ren and Stimpy show on Nickelodeon. I haven't seen this show for so long, but what I did not know is that they made video games based on the show. And the first Ren and Stimpy game I ever played was Buckaroos for the NES. It begins with Stimpy inventing a machine that makes money, and that's basically the story. But let's get to the actual game. You start with Space Madness, then you go into a transporter where you fly in a spaceship shooting various objects, which is pretty boring. Once you're done with that, you return, then you escape by making Ren jump across by using the springs. In the second stage, Out West, you can play as either Ren or Stimpy. For Ren, he can slap and shoot cherries and eggs, which is reference to one of the episodes. Speaking of which, you'll notice each stage is based on an episode. So far, I've only beaten the first two stages as a kid. What? Yeah, you heard what I said. I've beaten only two stages and end up dying in the third stage. Then you got Time Warp for the Super Nintendo. I rented this when I was 10 in 1994 at Blockbuster Video. It's a two-player beat-em-up, and what you do is that you need to collect a lot of Gritty Kitty litter purchases so that you can buy a time machine, and I never managed to do that. All I did was move on to the next stage. Then I realized I need to collect them. Oh, and right after you defeat the two dogs, you get to see Ren and Stimpy dance the Happy Happy Joy Joy like in one of the Season 1 episodes. In the next level, you'll encounter Croco's Stimpy, and he's a real pain in the ass. Using Stimpy, he won't be that much of a problem. Not to mention the Happy Helmet is also included. There are two ways to get rid of it. You either hit yourself with a hammer or a wall, except you'll lose a little bit of your life from your life meter, which looks like a layer of bricks. Okay, that's pretty creative. Now, I do have a confession. I, however, did manage to see what the rest of the game was like 21 years later. What is it like? Well, you go into a shooting game avoiding certain things that are in your way and shoot stuff. I almost got past it until I died. Overall, Time Warp isn't that bad, and the words of James Rolfe, let it pass. Moving on to Buckaroos. Now, this is the Super NES version, and I have played it on emulator when I was 16 back in 2001. But allow me to get a friend of mine to explain his thoughts about it.
This game is a shitload of diarrhea, fuckadoodle, cock-a-crap.
Well said, Big Al. Well said. And finally, let's take a look at Vidiots. I haven't played it since 2003 on Once Again emulator, and it's a really fun game, but challenging, cause I died while I was trying to escape from inside Stimpy's mouth. Now to close things out. These two versions of Ren and Stimpy Buckaroos were complete and utter trash. If you want some good ones, try Vidiots for the SNES and Stimpy's Invention for the Sega Genesis. And no folks, I have not played Stimpy's Invention in my entire life. Not even once. So anyway, this ends part 1 of my Nicktoons based video game reviews. Check in for part 2 as I take a look at another one. Stay tuned.